if you think about it, if you look at everything from insurance to your car payment to gas spending, service on your vehicle, everything that you do with your vehicle, somebody's having to spend money to advertise to get to you. And all of that advertising spend kind of gets baked back into your expense. And what we can do is provide one clean platform that takes a lot of those expenses out and creates a lot of savings for our customers.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Ezra Peterson. He's the Senior Director of Sales and Operations at Way.com. Ezra, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Excited to have you.
Love to talk about our business, talk about the solutions that we're providing for a customer base, and we can go from there.
Love it. Love it. So Ezra, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I actually started in the insurance business eons ago. I'm not going to put too big of a number out there, but because I don't want to, put a number on my age, but I got started eons ago in insurance, and came over to Way.com to help build out our insurance division here. Okay. So what I do now is I run pretty much the entire insurance vertical for Way, while working with our other business partners, because we have a lot of cross-pollination is probably a good way to put it, between our different verticals, which is really what our value proposition is. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But our main value proposition is the fact that we can bring customers to multiple different resources without having to spend a lot of lead acquisition cost.
So break that down for me. What does that look like?
So if you think about it, if you look at everything from insurance to your car payment to gas spending to service on your vehicle, everything that you do with your vehicle, somebody's having to spend money to advertise to get to you. And all of that advertising spend kind of gets baked back into your expense. And what we can do is provide one clean platform that takes a lot of those expenses out and creates a lot of savings for our customers, because they're not having to subsidize the company for that lead acquisition cost.
Yeah.
So we do, we're an auto super app. We're the first one to ever try to do this. So there's been a lot of learning along the way. There's been we've had some hiccups, we've had some fun starts, we've had some stuff that took off like a rocket ship and we had to slow down. Really what we are is essentially a way for every consumer to be able to find the best prices for everything to do with their vehicle in one simple app. They just click on it, they go to the links, and they you want to refinance your car because you bought it during the height of the pandemic and really took a bad deal. We've got options for that. You think your insurance is too high. We've got 126 different carriers we can shop through for you. You need to park downtown and you don't want to pay $45. We've got discounted parking available. Every time you fill up with gas, we have a discount available for you. So the average American household spends about $1,200 a year per vehicle. Our goal is to cut about $300 out of that.
Okay.
For every person, and that's about the number that we're landing on.
So you said you're the first company to kind of venture into this space. What are some other ways other than being able to provide all of these savings to customers that you're really able to stand out?
So I think what it is, and this is the challenge that we're fighting against right now, is to try to kind of make our point in the market of getting all of these things together. And so that you don't have to scroll through 5 different apps to do different things for the customer, that you can just go straight to our app and get everything there. That is our biggest business challenge, is really getting that word out and getting this cross-pollination together.
Yeah.
But of our I think we're at 6.2 million unique users at this point. We have 2.7 million that are what we call multi-vertical. So they have more than one product with us, or they've used us more than one time for an individual product. So it's starting to become, a little bit more popular. There's a lot of word of mouth. And there's a lot of email marketing. We do a lot of SEO work, and a lot of social media advertising. Those are kind of our biggest.
So kind of talking about, the users on the app, do you see trends in who uses the app, where they're using the app?
So we tend to be fairly urban centric, because the backbone of our company was parking and airport parking. So that's where kind of our base user comes in through. That's where our best market penetration is in that area. So they tend to be a lot more urban because they're going to be around bigger airports that you would have to pay $25 a day to park at. And our parking options are $7, $8. So they're saving money there. And then we're hitting them up with all the other verticals. So, and it's also urban areas tend to run a little bit hotter in terms of rates for insurance. So those tend to get shopped a little bit more. So where we see is a lot more of the major metros. California is our largest market by leaps and bounds. That's where we started. New York's number 2, Florida's 3, Texas is 4, Illinois is 5. But we tend to be, we offer our discounts everywhere. Where we see our users come from are more from the urban areas. Interesting.
And I want to make sure our listeners really understand the benefits of using Way. So break it down for me. Airport parking. What does that feature look like?
So if you think about your normal airport parking experience, right? So I'm based here in Dallas. If I have to fly out of DFW, it's $22 a day if I park at the airport. It's $14 a day if I use an offsite place, kind of like parking spot or somebody else like that. What we've done is we've contracted spaces with the regional hotels. So we have contracted spaces there. You go onto our app, you book your reservation. I'm going to go for 5 days. And when you pull up, you scan the QR code at the little stanchion at the end of the parking spot. It bills your account. You walk over, you take the shuttle down to the airport from the hotel, because that's covered under our parking agreement with them. And you just walk in to the airport and everything's good. So Brilliant. So that's, and then we also have city parking that we offer in the same method. So we have leased spaces. We also have we've now started moving into the event parking arena as well, where we have really good distribution available in some of these major markets. If there's a big concert in Dallas, we've got a ton of parking lots that we have leased spaces in that our customer has first right to.
Yeah.
So Brilliant. they can go up there. It's all on your phone. It's one app. You don't have to stand at that little parking terminal and try to scan your credit card and remember the space number you parked in or anything. You just click your phone and go.
Yeah. Brilliant. And I'm sure, like you said, it saves so much money, time, energy for your users.
Yes. Yeah. Now the biggest savings that we really see is out of the gas, the auto refinance, and the insurance side. Parking, the average expenditure in parking for the normal U.S. household it's not very dramatic. It's about $400 a year that somebody's going to spend in parking. Now we're going to cut that down to $100. But our goal is really to cut a lot of your other auto related expenses as well. So where we're seeing a lot more growth is on the insurance side, and then on the gas discount side, and on auto refinance. There were a lot of auto loans that were written during the real height of the pandemic and the vehicle shortage that were not advantageous for the consumer. Really nice way of putting it. And we work with a huge network of credit unions, banks, and et cetera, to be able to handle just about any situation and be able to refinance somebody's auto loan we've been saving people hundreds of dollars a month just on that alone.
Yeah.
Let alone the insurance side, let alone the parking, let alone, saving on average, $3-4 every time you fill up your gas tank. That all those things begin to add up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what our proposition is.
Yeah.
And there's no fee for it. Like, we're not charging the customer for this, because what we're doing is we're working as an aggregator for all of these other companies
Mm-hmm.
and saving them on their advertising costs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you think about yourself as a consumer, when you look at how much of what you pay for a product is baked in as advertising cost,
Mm-hmm.
or that company's cost to acquire you as a customer,
Mm-hmm.
you don't necessarily think about that, right? You
Mm-hmm.
get the coupon in the mail and it's
Right.
like, oh, hey, it's $25 off my oil change at Jiffy Lube. Great, let me go turn this in. What you don't see is that it costs Jiffy Lube $2.50 to send out 1 million of those,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they're spending $2.5 million and baking that back into the cost of your oil change.
Right.
Right. So if they can acquire a customer without having to make that spend, it saves everybody money. Saves the company money, saves the consumer money, and we essentially just work as the platform for you to access all of these savings.
Mm-hmm. 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 Ezra, when did you know you were on the right path to success with way.com?
Well, so really when we took off out of parking, and when COVID hit, it really hammered our business hard. We had to take a big step back and look at what can we do to continue forward as a company, because when COVID hit, obviously parking stopped.
Right.
Nobody was flying anywhere. Nobody was driving downtown. There were no concerts. There was nothing. But we had at that point in time, we had 3.7 million users of our parking app.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, okay, we've got these people. Let's find out how to do it. And I think the biggest part was the second vertical we launched after parking was insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And we wrote more insurance business in our first year than most agencies do in their first 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, at a lead acquisition cost that was about 25% of what the market spends.
Wow.
So it was, it was like, okay, we have something here. We have a big customer base. There is a need. Let's start building out these other verticals, and let's look at everywhere else we can save people money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. And I imagine too, having that big user base was beneficial because people were home, they had time to give you feedback, and they had time to really provide insight that, you may not necessarily have thought of had the pandemic not necessarily happened.
Yeah. So we actually sent out a survey to our customers. So we hit all 3.7 emails or 3.7 million emails up, and we got about 400,000 responses, which is, pretty solid. Yeah. Pretty solid response rate. And it was really good to see what the consumer wanted, because that's really what our business is delivering value to them. Yeah. So it's like, all right, how do we help these people, especially during this time? I mean, there's people that were, losing jobs abruptly, or, their business was getting pinched as well. How can we help you save some more money? Yeah. And that's really what we focused on and dug into. So it was really good to get that feedback. We still do it to this day. Interesting. So it's been fantastic.
Yeah. What would you say the biggest misconception, either about kind of the car industry, the insurance agency, because I know that that's kind of like your background. What would you say the biggest misconception, or even about way.com, would be?
So I think a lot of it is like, people look at it like, well, what's in it for you guys? That there's going to be a fee attached, or there's got to be, it's one of those too good to be true things, right? You're just going to save me money for no reason. It's like, well, no, I mean, we're making incremental commissions on all of these different products, but you'd be paying 5 different people for the same exact things, right? So what it is we're just kind of consolidating that business into one place, and then also making it cheaper for both our company to operate and the vendors to operate. So they're able to offer us discounts to our consumers that they wouldn't normally be able to. Yeah. Because they don't have to pay to acquire that customer. Right. And that's really where it's a kind of a convoluted concept. And that's really our biggest challenge, is making people understand that it is there really isn't a hook. There's no catch to this.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
download the app, use whatever piece. If you only want to use it for the gas discounts, only use it for the gas discounts. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you on like the Apple, the Apple?
Yeah.
App
Oh yeah.
Store?
Both iOS, Apple, the Apple Play and the Google Play.
Yep.
Yeah, our app is available on both of those. We also have a traditional desktop website as well, which is it's a much smaller piece of our traffic. We get about 20% of traffic coming through desktop. Almost 80% of our traffic is via the app.
Yeah.
Just because it's more user friendly. You can't from the desktop, you won't be able to book a parking reservation and scan a QR code from your desktop. You're going to have the app to do that part.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, unless you're out there with your laptop, I don't even know if they have a QR code reader.
Yeah, right. Could you imagine? Well, Ezra, quick question before we head out. Is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with about way.com or, just business in general?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think this is kind of the future of the way things are going. Marketing and advertising spend has kind of reached a critical point in multiple industries. Mm-hmm. And that is beginning to artificially inflate prices for the end consumer, because every business is we're in business to be profitable and make money and be a business, right? Mm-hmm. Provide jobs, do all this stuff. But when your marketing spend begins to exceed your profit margins, the consumer is the one that ends up taking the hit on that. Mm-hmm. Right. So they're the ones that end up ultimately paying to be a customer. Mm-hmm. And it should be the other way around. So I think this really is the kind of the future of where things are going to start to go, where you start getting this leveraging off of multiple verticals and bigger platforms. Mm-hmm. You look at Amazon, right? They started off as just books. Now it's anything and everything that you could want at your doorstep within 2 days.
Right.
So, and the reason why is Amazon made it easy for you to just go to Amazon and find, I don't want to go all the way down to the store and pick this up. I can just order it. It'll be here in a day or two. Mm-hmm. We want to be that for your car, right? So anything that has to do with your car, you just, hey, let me just hop on with Way. They've got it handled. We have all the vendors. We have all the discounts. We have everything that you would need. Mm-hmm. And that's really the value that we can provide to every one of our consumers.
Yeah. And it sounds like, you have the recipe for success and you've been scaling successfully. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be on Business Ninjas and, explain the growth.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to come out here and talk about it.